Thank you for using Anvil Fire's Fire Pump Test app. After you log in, the first screen you'll be able to see the plus sign to add a project, which is straightforward enough. The key is that depending on your pump type and the driver type, you'll have different options. Most common obviously is a traditional horizontal split case with electric motor. Go ahead and create test, project name. Because fire pumps only come in specific limited test criteria, let's pick 1,000 gallons per minute. Look on your pump nameplate. For demonstration purposes, I'm just picking something easy. After you have your project set up, there's 3 tabs. I like to think of the first tab as essentially your nameplate data. Second tab is data, where you'll be entering your information from your flow measurements. Third page is the graph, which is automatically generated from the data. So after you get on site, get your equipment set up, you go to the data screen, again hit plus because you're going to take a measurement, and let's just call this a churn test where we don't need to add any flows. For simplicity, just add a nice flat 10 psi suction, and let's do 130 pound discharge. And really the concept on this screen is, again, there's 2 tabs. The one on the left would be your gauge readings, and the other one would be your driver readings. And really this driver screen changes based on those original selections for electric versus diesel. Right here it tells us a little reminder that this pump is rated 3,500 RPM. Let's just say the RPM was just slightly lower, which is not unusual. Voltage is mainly for historical readings, and let's just enter some amperage readings because that is an important required part. Hit back. So that's our first point, and just for simplicity, just think about that as the churn. And we can look on here and you can kind of see the blue line is the numbers that you put in from your nameplate data. So let's add another point, and this time we want to enter a flow from whether it's a pitot gauge, a hose monster product, flow meter, whatever it might be. On this screen, again, once again, that plus button is always adding our item. And on this screen, you got a couple options. And for simplicity, I actually prefer to use the LHM is for the little hose monster. That would be the standard red plastic hose monster product. The OA is for open to air in case you're just shooting one of Hose Monster's P-less one. But we can just hit quick add. You can see it throw in 2 pitot numbers, 2 pitots that you'd be flowing at this time. And then while you're out there, for the Hose Monster product, it only goes down to 10 psi's, the listing limitations. And really you would adjust it, but for some reason you were taking your measurements and one of the pitots got a little bit higher, which isn't a big deal. You just, on the right, spin that up and down to the number that you need. And you can see the percentage rating is showing everything in live time. Let's go over here again. Let's do engines slow down just a little bit again. Enter our readings again. As our flows go up, our amperage demands go up. And you can see in there now we have a second point in there, and this time it is 99% rated. Again, you can flip over and kind of compare. I'm just picking numbers, so it's not necessarily super accurate, but you can see that the red line is the numbers we're taking from our measurements, and you can see there at the dashed line vertically, that's our 100% point. You see we're pretty close. I kind of had some bogus numbers there at the churn pressure, and whether there's human error or what. And you can always just go back, and we want to be at 110. The number should have been closer in here. So you can just go back, change it. It's updated. You can see we're closer. And really that's the benefit of this app. It allows you to immediately get feedback on the numbers to see if that you had human error or if you immediately had a field issue with your equipment. Also want to show you another option in here is, once again, we'll enter our suction discharge pressures, and then let's just add one without using the quick add. And we do that, let's go on manual. So this would be like taking a reading from a flow meter, and let's just go for that 150% point. Let's enter our voltages, RPM. And boom, you can see in there we got our 150% rated point. Flip over, you can see where we're at. And kind of another interesting feature is that it's good to have all these individual screens, because there's only so much information you can share on your phone at a time. But on this screen, when you flip back, you kind of see a map icon on the bottom right. If you click on that, that will show you kind of a summarized display of both. Kind of up on the top, a little more traditional graph format. And we also have, you're able to access this data via just a regular browser. More information will be coming on that soon.